2 hours long. So this is one of these films I wasn't really looking forward to watching, but also wanted to see it due to the fact that an astronaut gets stuck on Mars and he has to learn how to survive on his own. So you have Matt Damon as the main protagonist, Mark Watney. Also another few cast members I'll name: Jessica Chastain, Kristen Wiig, Jeff Daniels, and Michael Pena. Michael Pena, if you guys didn't know, he is from Ant-Man, and also Sean Bean. So with that little being said, I was really interested in seeing this film. I haven't seen a space film since Apollo 13, and I really liked Apollo 13, but also I wanted to let you guys know that here's a little fact that you guys probably don't know about lifespan of humans in space. So, did you know that the average lifespan of a human in hours says to be 75 years old? So that's over 657,000 hours, but you then have to compensate and calculate the leap years, to which would be 18.75 leap years in 75 years span. So think about that. To which the total that equals 657,450 hours. Take into account all the math I just spoke about, and you get an idea how this movie works on every single detail. It's truly the very best parts of MacGyver and Burn Notice. So if you guys haven't seen those films, watch MacGyver and you know exactly what I'm talking about. To have just under 3 measly hours to take over your life and engross the entire time does not seem such feature, and something I haven't seen in a film in years. So the whole plot of the story is, during a manned mission to Mars, astronaut Mark Watney, played by Matt Damon, he's presumed dead after a fierce storm. So they're up in space doing a mission. You know, they're in Mars. There's a sandstorm that comes in Mars, attacks the whole ship. They have to get out of there, but they leave Mark Watney not knowing, and they thought he was dead. But little that they know, he survives. So this is where the whole story begins, and which is interesting. But like I said, Watney has survived and finds himself stranded and alone on the hostile planet, with only a few supplies that had been left. Wit and spirit find his way to find a signal to find Earth and stay alive. I cannot even begin touching the surface of how almost flawless this film is, and I mean it by every single aspect. How everything Watney does to stay alive feels super real, and that's what really captured me to watching this film. This all makes sense on a massive realistic scale. This could be very possible. The science and mathematics that he has to go through when all these days that he spends in Mars. You know, if I were there by myself in Mars, stuck for 600 and 900 days, having to live off of one spacesuit or a couple of items, and having to grow my own potatoes off my own fertilizer of shit, I don't even know if I could even do that. But the way he does it is so interesting. He's so, you know, he's a botanist, and he's so well prepared on what he's doing. This is what captures the film and what kept me wanting to watch it, on how he was going to survive, if he was going to survive. So that's another thing that really captured the audience and also captured myself. Like I said, he has to do a lot of science, mathematics, and it makes you feel so underwhelming, minor in the scale of things. It feels extremely stupid for the most part, but at the same time, the stupidity, I loved it. I loved how he only had disco music to live off of because of his commander leaving that disco music. And that song Hot Stuff, it reminds me of when I watched an episode from Boy Meets World, but that's getting off the subject. It was just funny watching him just doing his thing in space and going through Mars, listening to disco music, repeating it over and over and over. But like I said, the scientists work on the real NASA's they're geniuses. To think that Martian actually all came from apparently an equal amazing book. There was a book written by Peter Ware, and it basically, from what I've heard, it's incredible. I don't really read too much, but you know, this film this film makes me want to read the book, and I don't read. But the scale of the screenplay, written by Drew Gondar, he also did Cabin in the Woods and Daredevil TV series, so you know where this is coming in. I hate movies that waste great characters, funny ones, and even smart ones. But one thing I do have to say, I wish we had seen more of them in the film, but here every single character is used so well on scale that works. Like Matt Damon's character, Michael Pena's character, which is his best friend, Rick Martinez. You know, he goes by Martinez, his last name. Just the way their connection was, how they interacted was spectacular, and keeping the story interesting and seeing how it was going to all play out. The mission to survive for all this period of time, I don't know if I could do it. And if he wasn't a botanist, I think he'd be screwed, to be honest with you guys. But as the course of him growing potatoes and running out of food, he had to basically take fertilizer, aka shit, that they had used in the bathroom, put it in plastic baggies, dig it in the ground, grow soil, and then grow potatoes. Grow plants of potatoes, which is really interesting, and I liked how they did that, to look at how someone would survive. And this is like the space version of Castaway. You know, Castaway is like it's a great film, and where, you know, Tom Hanks has to survive. This is exactly something like this, and if you like Castaway, you'll definitely like this film. I'm not even joking. The second half of the film, with an outstanding ending, should be a 3D fever dream. I mean, however, there's only 2 hours roughly worth of nothing would come close to a massive 3D experience, but still, it's still something to watch in 3D if you're somewhat of a space fan, looking at in the visuals. Oh my god, I can't even begin to talk about how beautiful and how realistic Mars looked. I don't know if it was computer generated, which it probably was, but wow, the detail on the planet, the mountains, the wind, all the sand blowing through Mars. It just felt so real. It was so cool to see, and just the way they brought Matt Damon's character back, from getting him out of Mars, getting him back to the other ship with the crew, was interesting, and I loved how they did it. I won't spoil it for you guys, but they just reference one of my favorite superheroes from Marvel, and that's all I'll say. It's freaking awesome, and I was like, yes, yes, wow. And you know what? It has its comedy too, like Armageddon. If you guys remember the movie Armageddon with Bruce Willis, this has its comedy, so don't worry about it. It's not all drama, but it's mixed with comedy, and I really like that. Matt Damon's performance alone was spectacular. Even Matt Damon really deserves something amazing from this film, in my honest opinion. To actually invest 3/4 of a film with nothing but one actor on screen, and a hell of an accomplishment. And I mean, just watching Matt Damon's character, you know, you're watching him talk to himself, having to grow all these plants, having to survive, having to communicate with NASA is super interesting. And the way they did it, on him recording himself, kind of like a webcam, web feed, it was really cool to see through his eyes. It was a really good film. I was going in there, you know, not really excited, but I walked out with my jaw dropped, and the way it ended, it was really good. So I'd give this movie a solid 9 out of 10. I highly recommend it for you guys to go see it in theaters, and if you guys are huge Matt Damon fans, go pick this movie up when it comes out on Blu-ray. This is my personal opinion, and like I said, it was really well done. I really liked the film, and I highly recommend to go see it. Is it worth going to go see in the movies? Yes. My final verdict, 9 out of 10. Thank you for listening to my review. I'll be having a few more reviews coming up this week, and also an unboxing for the late Assassin's Creed game, which comes out in 3 days from now. Assassin's Creed Syndicate. So watch out for that, and I'll talk to you guys soon. This is Critical Redemption with another movie review. Until next time, take care, guys.
I'm a botanist. Mars, will come to fear my botany powers.